Mara Gay, your reaction to what we've just witnessed in the last 60 minutes?
You know, I think, Michael, it's even larger than that. I think for the majority of Americans who have watched this process unfold and are living in reality, and Lamar Alexander did actually acknowledge that reality, which is that the president did do something wrong, and that is important. We shouldn't just gloss that over. But I think for that majority of Americans, what we're witnessing tonight is really a capstone in a just total collapse of faith in American institutions. I think if you're an American who believes the evidence that the House managers laid out, you have to be thinking to yourself tonight, I need to get myself and everybody on my block and everybody in my family to a poll very quickly, because otherwise this president is not going to be held accountable. And, you know, I have to say, as somebody who grew up with a father who grew up in the Jim Crow South and in the Jim Crow Detroit, a lot of what this has looked like from the Republican side, the kind of imagining and the farcical nature of this, the lack of good faith argument sounds very familiar to me, and it's actually quite scary. I think we're at a very scary moment.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.